and welcome to the very first episode of Zero to Zero, a pointless football podcast for fans and non-fans alike. Where we pit someone who knows some football, that would be me, Fixxxer, against someone who knows maybe a little bit football by now, Tulkas, perhaps a little.
Hello, I am Tulkas.
Alright, I take it back. It's not the first episode. It's the... Wait, what is it? The 13th then? Alright, do we have buys this week? I mean, wait, what happened last week? How well did we do? There we go. 12-3 I did, Tulkas. 12-3. You did 7-8. You got to pull it together. You're only 10 games above 500, so you gotta keep it steady here. We're going down the home stretch, right? So, no bye weeks. Bye weeks are over with. They're done. Let's talk some football. Thursday night game, the New Orleans Saints versus the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. So Dak and Zeke, they helped the Cowboys to a win over a Colt McCoy-led Redskins team. 3 interceptions certainly helped too, but now they face the Saints juggernaut that is, who slapped around the Falcons last week. A healthy Saints team, no less. They're, for the most part, healthy. I think they're missing their left tackle, which could be a problem, I suppose. But especially with Tucker Charlton on the other side, maybe he could be the tide turner. So the only way the Cowboys have a chance here, I think, is with turnovers, which is not an easy task with Drew Brees. I'm going with the Saints.
I am picking the Saints, Fixxxer.
Rafflesump it is, I agree. Next up, Indianapolis Colts at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Despite throwing 2 interceptions, Luck still had a good game, completing 30 of 37 for 340 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's a lot of threes. And this was done against a decent Miami defense. Darius Leonard is still tackling and sacking and having a fantastic year. And they face a Jaguars team that's putting up one of the best choke jobs in recent memory. They benched Blake Bortles and plan to start Kessler this week. It's not going to fix anything. Colts are going to win.
The Colts won last time. This time I pick the Jaguars.
Fair enough. Jacksonville wins per Tulkas. You heard it here first, guys. All right. Sunday afternoon games early on. Still Baltimore Ravens at the Atlanta Falcons. It was close for 3 quarters, but the Ravens ultimately put down the Raiders last week. Lamar Jackson wasn't running too willy-nilly this time, as he had only, quote-unquote only, 11 rushes for 71 yards. The Falcons had no rushing game to speak of last week, as Matt freaking Ryan was their leading rusher with 16 yards. I think that's like the second or third time he was their leading rusher. That's uncalled for. Anyways, the Ravens will gobble him up. Ravens win.
Then methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer swung by seraphim whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee. Respite and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore, quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe and forget this lost Lenore, quoth the raven. Nevermore.
Chicago Bears at the New York Football Giants. Chase Daniel was able to lead the Bears past the lines last week. He played pretty well enough for their defense to take over the game, surely. The word is Trubisky is staying out another week at the time of this recording. The Giants, they played a good game against the Eagles, but a game that I think they should have won. They did not. The Bears are playing much better than the Eagles right now, though, even with Chase Daniel. Bears win, probably easily.
Bears are lumbering, but Giants also lumber, and they can use lumber. I pick Giants.
Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. The Bills beat the Jaguars last week, rushing the ball for 35 times versus 19 passes. They're basically riding their defense to wins, and it sometimes works. The Dolphins lost to a last-second field goal versus a good Colts team. Should be a close game. I see the Dolphins breaking their losing streak here. Miami wins.
The Dolphins just retreat into the ocean and win.
Cleveland Browns at the Houston Texans. Mayfield had 250 yards and 4 touchdowns in kicking the Bengals while they're down. Their defense will face a nice test this week versus the Texans. Lamar Miller had a 97-yard run for a touchdown, and Watson had 200 yards and 2 touchdowns against a pretty good Titans defense. J.J. Watt and the defense also had 6 sacks and 10 tackles for loss. The Houston Texans they're a well-oiled machine right now. For now. They're very good at choking as well, so I guess we'll see. Anyways, they got an 8-game win streak, and good for them. I think this has the makings of a trap game. If J.J. Watt can do his thing, Texans will win. I think I'll go with Texans.
I will leave this pickup to my boy Diesel.
Next up, the Denver Broncos at the Cincinnati Bengals. Broncos upset the Steelers last week in a game I had called. Keenum had a good game, protected the ball. This was an imperative win for them. They'll be facing a Bengals team that's without Dalton for the rest of the year with a thumb injury. Driscoll will get his chance, but you don't really want your first start to be against Von Miller and the Broncos. I think the Broncos will win as long as Keenum doesn't turn the ball over, which he just might.
Tigers can roll over. Bengals win.
Arizona Cardinals at the Green Bay Packers. I said the Cards would keep it close against the Chargers, and I was right for like 8 minutes when they had a 10-0 lead. Then they went on to lose 45-10 against Phillip Rivers' career day. The Pack, they lost to the Vikings, and everyone rejoiced. Not sure what good they can... there you go. I was waiting for that. Not sure what good they can pull out of the game, other than even on a Rodgers bad day, he's not awful. Green Bay wins.
The Cards will use financial astuteness to disrupt the Pack supply chain. Cardinals win.
Falcons picks Arizona. Next up, still early on, Los Angeles Rams at the Detroit Lions. Rams are coming off a bye after their big win versus Kansas City. People keep talking about how amazing the game was, and sure, it was, but what got awful defense by both teams, setting aside the career day by Ebukam. And the Rams have serious talent on defense. That's something that teams need to start exploiting if they can get run over like that so easily. Anyway, so now we got Detroit. Detroit needs to stop Gurley. Got to be the focus. And they got to put Goff on the ground. You know where I'm heading with this, don't you, Talkins? Yes, and they need a Kerryon Johnson to control the clock. He is listed as questionable, though, and I don't know if he's going to play at the time of this recording anyways. Mitchell needs to not turn the ball over, and Mitchell, oh my God. Anyways, they need not to turn the ball over at all, and this has the making of a trap game if Detroit can play as well as they have in the past, but I'm going with the Rams. Don't be shocked if Detroit does trap them, but I'm going with the Rams.
Rams can fly. Rams win.
Carolina Panthers at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs, they took care of business against the 49ers behind Winston and his 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Panthers are on a 3-game losing streak all of a sudden, but it hasn't been against bad teams. Cam still plays well and gives them a chance every game. I see the Panthers breaking their streak against the awful Bucs D.
Buccaneers are too disorganized to withstand the Panthers.
Righto. All right. Sunday afternoon games. Kansas City Chiefs at the Oakland Raiders. Chiefs are coming off a bye after their shootout with the Rams. They're going to slaughter the Raiders. It shouldn't even be close. We're going to get 50 shades of John Gruden's face. Only way to win is to not play. Chiefs win by a lot.
Chiefs win by a lot.
New York Jets at the Tennessee Titans. Another Sunday afternoon game. McCown played for the Jets last week, but had similar results. An anemic offense. That doesn't bode well for them going against a Titans defense that has played very well versus the pass. Jets' only chance is probably with Crowell on the ground, perhaps. Titans may have a 2-game losing streak, but it was against 2 tough teams. Look for them to shut the Jets down pretty hard, maybe even a shutout on the horizon here. Tennessee wins.
The Jets have anemic offense. Titans win.
All right, more Sunday afternoon games. 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. The Niners released Foster after another domestic violence arrest. Mullen has looked rough for a couple games, but hey, he's a rookie. Remember that. Sherman will be playing against his old team, and I expect him to be pumped up for that. Seattle, however, is playing good football on both sides. Look for them to harass Mullen all game long and test Sherman in the back. I think the Seahawks will win. Maybe not due to Sherman, but I think they will win.
Yay, Seahawks should be good. They win.
All right, Sunday evening game, the Los Angeles Chargers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rivers had a career game with 28 of 29 passing and 3 touchdowns. That's the most accurate game ever recorded in the history of the NFL. At one point, he had a record-breaking 25 consecutive completions. This all against a decent Cards defense. I wouldn't say a great Cards defense, but a decent one. He's going to need it against the Steelers this week, though, especially considering their running back Gordon is out. The Steelers, they choked against the Broncos. Big Ben had 56 attempts. Should be a good game, I think. Losing Gordon will be rough on the Chargers. I think they can pull out a win, but they'll need their backup running back, Eckler, to have a great day. I don't think he will. I think I'll go with the Steelers then.
Steelers can withstand the charge of the Chargers.
It's going to be difficult for them. It's possible, but I think it'll be difficult. Monday Night Football, the Washington Redskins at the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Redskins went and signed a guy who beat his girlfriend the other day. Well done, Redskins. The fact is that with McCoy at QB, teams will just stack the box against Peterson like they have his whole career. Eagles are coming off a close game against the Giants. They shouldn't have an issue against the Skins, but you never know. They've blown some easy wins so far this year. I'll go with the Eagles.
Football is stupid. Redskins win.
All right, the featured game this week, it is a Sunday afternoon game, the Minnesota Vikings at the New England Patriots. Let's start with the Vikings. Before the Vikings, the region had the Minneapolis Marines, who then became the Minneapolis Red Jackets. Both teams from the 20s and 30s. The current Vikings team came into the league in 1961 through expansion. No name contests, no fancy stuff. The GM just recommended the name Vikings because they're an aggressive people with a will to win, and it fits well with the Midwest Nordic ancestry. Another fun fact, the Minnesota Vikings were the first professional team of any sport to represent a state instead of a city. Moving on to the New England Patriots. Originally known as the Boston Patriots, they came into the league in 1959, named after the people of the Revolution. There you go. They built a stadium in Foxborough and decided to change from Boston to New England when they went to go play there. Simple as that. You have done that like 3 times now. I'm sure you probably could, but we're going to save that for another podcast. On to the game. The Vikings pulled out a win against the Packers, but their injuries are piling up. Not a game goes by where Rhodes doesn't look dead. Diggs and Thielen are also a bit beat up. Game will come down to turnovers, as it often does. Neither of these teams are ball-hawking teams, so whoever can grab an interception or 2 or a fumble will probably win. I'm going to go with the Vikings.
Patriots have gunpowder and will beat the Vikings.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Tulkas, close us out.
Goodbye, everyone.